Hi friends, I'm Beatriz, I'm your host here on Beatriz's Book Nook, and today I bring to you a different topic. You might know that recently I have been doing some talking series, which is my Let's Talk series. So today I decided to bring to you a new episode. And this one is going to be about something that I'm very passionate about, and this is in regards of mixing passions. What I mean with mixing passions is most likely and 100% sure of when you enjoy to do more than one thing, but you see yourself basically either consuming just one or just the other, which honestly it also happens to me quite often. But I feel like recently I have been able to find a good balance between just wanting to either game or just wanting to read. So let me talk to you a little bit about this, and yeah, without further ado, let's get back into the video. As you might know, and I believe I have spoken about this in some past videos, I have always been a reader, or at least since I can remember, I have always been either with a book next to me or next to my bed, or even on the go reading, such as since I was little. For example, when I got that to that age, I used to read a lot of Wattpad fan fictions and stories that people and normal people would create and would write, such as At the Time After by, I don't remember, but I will put the cover. Although I am also in this video, I'm also going to be talking about my second biggest passion, which is going to be gaming. I have been gaming since I was about 16 to 15 years old, so for about 10 years now, maybe even a little bit younger, and I was never able to let it go. Gaming has become one of the things that I most enjoy to do. Would it be just for fun? Would it be just for the competitive aspect? Or would it be just because I want a little bit of a cozy hobby on that day, on that night, or even because I'm getting FOMO? That happens quite a lot. For example, at the moment, I have been watching and seeing a lot of people developing their own Sims Forever save file, and just because I was fearing of missing out on that as well, I have been dedicating a lot more time than normal to my Sims, getting new custom content, developing Sims, getting backstories for them, which I haven't started that yet, but I don't know, I'm just having fun and just enjoying my time, to be honest. And these two passions, they always have something in common. Reading helps with my imagination and immersing myself in worlds through the words that the authors write, where gaming, it helps me with interaction, sometimes not only social interaction, because when I game in a more competitive aspect, I am always gaming with friends and meeting new people. But depending on the game, it also allows you to immerse yourself inside of the story because you are the character, such as, for example, of Dungeons and Dragons, which you might know I have been also quite playing it a lot recently. Which is funny because nowadays a lot of books have been resourcing to games to find some inspiration, such as, for example, once again, Dungeons and Dragons. We have been recently seeing a lot of books coming up or appearing with that inspiration. Some examples that come to mind very quickly are Legends in Lattes, Dungeon Crawler Carl, and Dungeons and Drama as well. So all strangely are once again based on D&D, but they were the ones that I could remember. Although having in this situation as well, having a 9 to 5 job, technically I work 8 hours of my day, which honestly is a big chunk of my day. If we think that then we have about 8 hours to sleep, and we then are left with another 8 hours. One of those hours is passed at work, which is my lunch break, and then we only have 7. those 7, they are normally distributed to me between the morning and the night when I leave at work, because I enter at 1 p.m. and leave at 10 p.m. in the afternoon. A lot of the time is spent either eating, taking showers, sometimes at the gym, so those times do get a little bit small when we think about that. And due to this, I have to remind myself that I need to do things that I love, because my time honestly is not that much when we put into consideration that all of these aspects that I have just mentioned. So I always do my best to at least read a little bit throughout the day, and then if I feel like it, which has been happening a lot as I've said, I will game most likely during the night, which is what I have been doing. So throughout the day I always try to read, but I can also I don't tend to gravitate a lot when on a work day to gaming, but over the weekends I do game quite a lot during the day. With all of this, I also want to come to the conclusion that unfortunately I haven't yet come up with a well enough balanced routine where I can balance all of this: going to the gym, taking showers, eat, work, playing, reading, do other hobbies that I have that I also really enjoy. But I am on the way. I am doing the best that I can every single day to get a little bit better, to do everything a little bit better, one step at a time. And unfortunately not all days are the best, but we do what we can, and what we can sometimes is the best. And on my time off, what I always try to do is to not pressure myself to do one thing or the other. I always try and always try to move forward with what I am feeling. What I mean in this is, if I'm feeling like reading a full-on book during my time off, I will do it. If I am just feeling to spend the day chatting with my friends on Discord, I will also do it. But if I am wanting to game, I will do it as well. Or sometimes it can happen I will do neither of those, because at the moment I think it's very important for me to be able to find a good enough balance where I know when to stop and when to start things. Because, and what I mean with this is, I am always fatigued. I don't have the most energy throughout the days, just because honestly I do have a really hard time sleeping, and that really influences my day and the energy that I have throughout the day. And due to this, I most likely and almost always do gravitate towards doing one of the things to instead of the other. What I mean with this is that I will gravitate sometimes towards reading or even towards just gaming, because it ends up being easier on my brain. Such as, for example, yesterday I wanted to read, but the book that I'm currently reading, it is in English and I don't have the audiobook for it. So I ended up gaming for the whole night, or at least a good chunk of it, just because I didn't want to put and to pressure my brain into having left work, having to think a lot for work, and then having to once again do the same thing for just my leisure pastime, because I work in English and that is a lot of brain work for myself throughout the day. I get really tired, and then reading in English, it sometimes feels like I'm not fully disconnecting myself from work. But we manage, we try to do the best that we can, and I sometimes can do it, sometimes cannot, and I just have to basically accept that I am not a robot and I cannot do everything. One other thing that I try or do my best to try to do will be to manage both things at the same time, is if I am reading an audiobook at the moment. A lot of the games that I tend to play, excluding one or two, actually, they are most likely cozy games, such as The Sims 4, Stardew Valley, Palia, other games like that, where I do tend to game alone for those a lot. So I just to keep myself some company, I will put, for example, an audiobook, a little bit of music on the background, and I'm just there doing my thing and focusing more honestly on what I'm listening instead of really what the words are on the paper, if that honestly makes any sense to you. But in the end, the way that I'm able to do this and try to manage it all is by making space without guilt. I am doing things for fun. I'm doing things to get my head out of work. So, and to create joy on the small moments that I have and that I am able to have throughout the day. So, my tip onto this is do whatever you feel like, because honestly, creating these little joyful moments, I believe it's the most important. They will take all of the pressure from yourself and they will help you just enjoy life a little bit more. Which is why, if you would like, I have, for example, with my friends, we have been doing those kind of board game days where we all get together and try some new games, which have been a lot of fun and a really nice way for us to kind of decompress from the months we had and just decompress from all of the things and just be together, which is something that we really want to achieve more and more nowadays. Although I also have that overachieving bug in me, try to do it all at once, because, well, I'm just human and honestly I want to be everywhere and I don't want to miss out on things. So due to that, I sometimes even do tend to burn out myself on the things that I put me through, but that is fine. We manage, we try to do better every day, and at some point we arrange a new thing of a new way of doing things. So this is why, and one of the reasons why I have also started on my personal curriculum. If you have seen it around the internet, you might know what I'm referring to about. And this is basically taking ourselves back into school and doing things and researching topics that we find fun and that we want to learn more about. I have decided to take on this trend, although it's not going that well, but I believe because I haven't put a lot of time into all of the subjects that I decided to do for myself, but I believe everything is fine. The time that I was able to put into it, I actually enjoyed everything that I learned, and I am now wanting to learn more, but I do tend to leave a lot of these more high energy, high mindset things for the weekend because it's when I know I have more space to do. But yeah, I think this is it. Let me know in the comments if you do mix your passions together sometimes. Let me know what is your other passion besides reading. And this is all for today's video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to me once again babbling and rambling about a topic that you might not even find interesting. And I think I'll see you on the next video. Until then, I hope you have a rest of a lovely day, night or evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye friends.